Hello, I am Gary Parker. Welcome to Math 98 this fall of 2021 at Blue Mountain Community College. I want to give you a little introduction to what the course is like online. So all the course materials are available in Canvas. And so after the day before classes start, you should have access to this course. We have a tutoring service here at the college, and I am also available as a tutor. Introduction about me and the course a little bit. I have a lot of videos on YouTube related to this class, and so here's a link to the playlist, some other math utilities. So just take a minute after you check out this video to check out the introduction. Know there's a YouTube playlist. I have the videos linked throughout the course also. Math utilities. A couple of other important things, writing about quantitative information. So this class is not really about algebra. We do a tiny little bit when we have to, but mostly we try not to do algebra. We're going to use a calculator a lot. We're going to use a spreadsheet a lot, and we're going to write a lot of stuff down. So it's one thing to say blood alcohol level of someone is 0.08, but what the heck does that really mean? And so what we're going to learn to do is take these situations about numbers and to accurately describe what the heck they really mean. So this is more writing about math, or as much writing about math as it is doing math. We'll look at lots of visual displays of data. And I have this document about self-regulated learning, which is going to be one of your first few assignments. I used to use a print workbook for this class. I noted here it's optional, but I've moved everything online. So now all of the workbooks are these interactive screens that you'll play with, and I'll show you one in a sec. Math Lounge is a discussion place where you guys can post questions or ask for help from each other, or maybe try to find someone to study with. Really good class to have a study partner for. Highly recommend you get in touch with someone else in the class. In this section, there's two sections combined here that I think there's 50 people right now. So a lot of people you could reach out to and find somebody. There's due dates on all the assignments. You should see there's stuff I want you to read and there's stuff I want you to do. If a date is attached to something in points, that means get it done before that date. Super important. These dates are deadlines. If you wait until that day to do it, you might not have enough time to get it done. So try to look at these assignments that are dated before that deadline comes or passes. If you generally wait to look at something until the date it says, you're probably going to be late all the time. So don't do that. I mentioned we're going to use spreadsheets. I like Google Sheets. They're easy to work with. So there's a little bit about sharing with Google, and I'll demonstrate that in the videos to come. So week one here is mostly just course information, a little bit about getting started in the course. It's a half week this week. And then week two is our first full week where you're going to jump into some things. And actually this prep 3-1, we're going to get that done this week. So let's just take a look at what the assignments look like. The class is mostly broken down into lessons. Each lesson has a prep, the actual lesson workbook interactive exercise, and then follow-up homework. So this is like getting ready for the lesson where you learn some new things, and the homework where you get a little bit more practice. And they're all interactive online things. And then at the end of each week, you're going to write about something you learned, and then you're going to work on a special written assignment that you're going to post in a discussion forum. And so once you post, everybody gets to see everybody else's work. So you can then compare. Did I do as good as they did? Does theirs look better than mine? Does mine look better than theirs? Some weeks we just cover one section. I'm easing us into this quarter. Other weeks we're going to cover 2 lessons. So it varies from what we do each week. So let's take a quick look at one of these. A prep assignment is generally things you should already be familiar with. Maybe there's something tiny bit new in there. So my hope is that in a previous class, you graphed some points, and sometimes they lined up and sometimes they curved up in different ways. So these are a few things that you should be familiar with coming into this course. And I have just a little reminder here, and here's a reference to the previous course. And then there's questions that you're going to try and answer. Now this is math. You got to write stuff down on paper. you can't just look at the screen and do stuff. So I expect you on a piece of paper to write this down, whip out a calculator and do some calculations. And there's just usually a helper that pops up in case you need to type something special like a fraction or a power, or maybe you need pi, magical number pi. When you're plotting things in most of the homework assignments, very few require plotting, but some do. It's usually a 2-point plotting system. So I mentioned that up here, and you'll notice the draw tools down here each have 2 points. So you have to decide, am I graphing a line, one of these U-shaped things, or one of these hockey stick shaped things here? Once you decide which one you're doing, then pick 2 points from the table above that you already filled out and get them plotted there. And again, there's videos on that you'll see later. So that's a prep assignment. Let's go back. Actually, let's go forward. So by the way, in the prep assignment, there are multiple questions, which you can jump through in this key here, or by using the forward and back buttons. Then at the very bottom, there's a previous and a next. So I have a bunch of questions to answer for this assignment before I move on to the next assignment. And it says which assignment is next when I point to that button. So this is the actual lesson. Lessons are going to have a lot more written material and usually some videos attached to them. So here I describe, these are all the things we're going to learn about here. And then here are some of the notes about it. And then here's a video about how to get started and some questions to answer based on the video. And then there's going to be more things to do. Notice there's a next page, which is part of this assignment that's different from the next at the bottom, which moves on to the next assignment. So it takes a little getting used to, but you'll get used to it. I can also navigate right here and get to the next part. And I can see there's some more questions to answer. And usually the questions on a particular page are related. So all the questions down here are related to the stuff at the top. So you do your best to answer those and then move on to the next page. New problem, questions to answer, and so on. So the prep is usually the easier part. Some stuff I'm reminding you about, maybe a couple of new things. The lesson, that's all the new stuff that you're really learning. And then once you finish the whole lesson, then you're going to move on to the homework assignment. And the homework assignment is going to be like the lesson, similar questions. And sometimes I push you a little harder on some of those to see if you're really getting it. But you'll notice they're going to look pretty similar in terms of the display and the kinds of questions that you're going to see. So every lesson has a theme. We do 1 to 2 lessons per week. And then we have the end of the week assignments that you're going to work on in here. So that's an intro to the course. Again, my name is Gary Parker, and it's good to see you virtually, and stay in touch. Do good math.